And I know how difficult it must be for you working on negotiations on legislation like that is so complex and takes so long. And to see it all abandoned just because Donald Trump gave the order.
Yeah, it's difficult for the American people because, the vast middle of this country in between the 20-yard lines believes that we should have legal immigration to this country, but they also believe that we should have a secure border. And they know we don't right now when you have 10,000 people crossing on a daily basis. I give a lot of credit to my colleague, Senator Lankford. He actually didn't bow to Donald Trump's pressure. He was one of only 4 Republicans in the United States Senate that voted for the bill. But the reality is, as you said in your opening, that Republicans are allergic to solving the problem at the border. They've become so used to seeing the border as a political problem to exploit that they can't imagine a world in which it's solved. I mean, what would they go on TV and talk about? How would they raise money from their base? What would they do on the weekends if they can't go down to the border, pretend to be border agents patrolling for undocumented crossers? We had a bipartisan bill that would have given the president extraordinary new powers to shut down the border when crossings were too high, to process asylum claims in a matter of months, not years, to put real personnel and technology on the border to interrupt the flow of fentanyl. And ultimately, Donald Trump told Republicans, I don't really care that it's good for the country. All I care is that if the border was more under control, it would hurt me politically. And that's the situation that we're in today. So listen, I get paid to put up with this BS. The American people, they're the ones that should be pretty pissed off.
I want to listen to more about what the president described to the agents about what's in this bill, especially on what it could do on the illegal importation of fentanyl. Let's listen to this.
We also need more cutting-edge inspection machines to detect and stop fentanyl from entering the United States of America. A year ago, I stood at the border in El Paso, and I watched these machines at work. They were able to detect everything from fentanyl to weapons to people being smuggled in cargo containers. This compromised bill would provide an additional $424 million for 100 more of these machines and could save lives in the process. This compromise legislation will also give me, as president, or any of the next president, emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border between ports of entry when the numbers of immigrants and migrants, overwhelm the border, straining the Border Patrol's ability to process them.
Senator, 100 more of these machines that can detect fentanyl, if you don't want that to become law, we just can't continue to listen to you pretending to be concerned about people who are suffering from addiction to fentanyl, which has been a Republican chant for all 4 years, every year of the Biden presidency.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, Republicans go out there and claim that they care about this fentanyl epidemic. And listen, every single one of us now knows someone who has died of a fentanyl overdose. This is an absolute epidemic. But Republicans are willing to do nothing, not a single thing to solve this problem. They're trying to destroy our healthcare system, rip apart the Medicaid system that provides care for these individuals to try to get them through recovery. And now we know that they're not willing to do anything at the border. The fact of the matter is most of the fentanyl coming into this country comes through the ports of entry, right? These are the places where vehicle travel brings fentanyl through the ports. Right now, we don't have enough machines to do x-rays of all of those vehicles, trucks and passenger vehicles. This bill would have provided the funding to dramatically increase the number of trucks and cars that we screen. We would have tied a noose around the traffickers' business model, but now they will be able to continue to move product into this country because there's no executive order that can invent the money to buy these machines. Only the bipartisan bill could have done that.
So Donald Trump just spent the last hour on Fox talking to Sean Hannity at a very peaceful-looking section of the border where there was absolutely no trouble going on in the background there at all. And Donald Trump couldn't even fill the whole hour with his thoughts about the border. He diverted for about 1/4 of the show to talk about abortion and in vitro fertilization and stress that he's completely in favor of IVF, and he's going to figure out some magic formula that the whole country is going to agree on abortion, pretending that he was not the driving force in overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, well, the only reason that IVF is under threat today, the only reason that states are banning abortion, the only reason that women's lives are in jeopardy all across this country is because Donald Trump made it his #1 priority to put judges on the bench who would allow states to be able to ban abortion, to control women's bodies. This was the top priority for Donald Trump. He said as such. And now Republicans are coming to grips with the fact that the huge, overwhelming majority of the country does not want judges and male politicians in charge of women's bodies. They certainly do not want IVF to be banned. But that is what Donald Trump set in motion. He was not apologetic about it. He didn't hide it. And it is just too late to walk it back. And let's be absolutely clear. If Donald Trump becomes president again, he will do exactly what he did in his first term. He will appoint to the bench judges that will allow politicians to ban abortion, to ban contraception, and to ban IVF. That is just the 100% truth. He can't run from it. And I don't think people are going to buy it as he and other Republicans try to walk it back.